Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is breaking below this critical area of support as this massive warning signal is still flashing on the Bitcoin chart, while the price of Bitcoin just wiped out a bunch of long positions, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, now on the edge of a major break to the downside. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, just quickly giving you an update on interest rates, because over the last one day, we did actually get some new CPI inflation numbers come in, and they came in very slightly above expectations, but still very close to expectations. So the expected outcome was basically 2.3% year-over-year inflation in the CPI. So 2.3% was the expected outcome, and we ended up seeing 2.4%. And so this was potentially a bit of a bearish signal in the short term, potentially one of the reasons as to why we saw a bit of a dump just recently in the price of Bitcoin. But with that being said, it was still relatively close to expectations, so this shouldn't have had really a major effect on the markets. And considering the fact that the CPI inflation rate is still very close to 2% right now, back at the target rate, essentially that means that interest rates are still being cut, and the next Fed meeting will likely see another interest rate cut as well. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today on the 4-day time frame, nothing's changed over the last 1 day, so we're still sitting in the red in the super trend indicator. And if we're looking at the 2-day Bitcoin chart, obviously right now we're still within the long-term bearish trend. As I've been saying for months now on the channel, things are looking very bearish on the larger time frames, but ultimately we can see short-term bullish trends, so basically a pump to the upside that might even last for a couple of weeks during the larger bearish trend, and that's what we saw just here. And as I've said many times over the last few months, in order to flip more bullish again on the larger timeframes, expecting more of a bull run that could last for many months, we need to first see a confirmed breakout at least above this descending line of resistance, which is currently sitting at around 66,000, and ideally we need a breakout above around 67 to 68,000, because we do have a significant resistance around there as well. And so while the price of Bitcoin is still below these levels of resistance on these larger timeframes right now, we're still in a larger bearish trend. But once again, we can see the occasional pump from time to time along the way down. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, right now we're seeing a continued spike in the DXY, also known as the US dollar index, which is a bearish signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And obviously, I've already been warning about this over the last few days now, basically before we even saw this latest dump over the last 1 day. I've been warning that this is a major bearish signal to watch out for, likely going to cause more bearish price action for Bitcoin. Because usually when we see the DXY flip into the bullish direction, basically playing out a major pump in the DXY, almost always, not all the time, but almost always, we see a lot of bearish price action for the price of Bitcoin, as we can see here time and time again. And so this time around, it is not different. We're seeing a spike to the upside in the DXY, which is once again helping to cause some bearish price action for the price of Bitcoin, which I've already been warning about for some time now. And so essentially the long-term trend has not changed. That's been bearish for many months. And the shorter-term trend, which can flip between bullish and bearish much more often, the short-term situation is also bearish, because right now we're seeing this major spike to the upside in the DXY, causing short-term bearish price action. And with the latest dump in the price of Bitcoin, this is also putting the price below this area of support in between around 60.2k to 61.2k. But at least at the time of recording this video, we've not yet confirmed the break below that area of support, because we've not yet seen a candle close on the daily time frame actually confirmed below around 60.2k. So we still need to wait for some confirmation here. But with that being said, at the time of recording this video, if we stay where we are right now at the candle close, obviously that will eventually confirm a break to the downside. And as I said in my last video, if we break below around 60.2k, so basically breaking below $60,000 with confirmation, that'll be another bearish signal in the short term, likely going to point towards a drop down towards this area of support in between around 56 to 57,000 as the next significant area of support to the downside, if we first confirm the break with a candle close below $60,000. And now we could also find a small amount of support at around 59,000 and 58,000. But with that being said, the next significant area of support to the downside, once again, is in between around 56 to 57,000. And as for resistance, if we actually confirm this break below around $60,000, then this previous support should become new resistance. But if we see a bounce back up very soon, back up above around 61.2k, in that case, we could find some resistance at around 63,000 and significant resistance at around 64,500, which is pretty much exactly where we rejected from. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously, as I've already been warning about over the last few days, we have more room to the downside now that the RSI is reset out of those oversold territories. That's given us more room to the downside in the RSI and the price, as I've already been saying, since much higher prices. But with this latest dump to the downside in the price of Bitcoin here in the short term, this has obviously moved the RSI closer towards oversold territories again, but we're not there just yet, which means technically speaking, we still have some more room to the downside here, but we're getting close to potentially seeing some sort of bounce sometime soon. So once again, we're not oversold just yet, which means we could potentially see a little bit more of a drop, but maybe in the next 2 days or so, 1 or 2 days, we're likely going to find some sort of local low, whether we're first going to see a bit of a drop here and then see a local low. Either way, once again, we're getting close to oversold. So that's something to pay attention to here in the short term. But as I said, the last time we saw this oversold signal confirm in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI, this is not necessarily a bullish trend reversal signal. Sometimes it just means a slight bullish relief during a bearish trend, which is pretty much exactly what we saw here as expected, as I explained every day along the way and played out pretty much perfectly. And so that's the situation right now for Bitcoin. The trend and momentum in the short term and the long term is still very much bearish, at least as of right now. But soon, maybe in the next 2 days, 1 to 2 days, we could soon see a slight bounce in the short term during this bearish trend due to a potential oversold signal if we see a continued drop here. And not only that, we're also potentially seeing a bullish divergence forming here on the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, with lower lows already confirmed in the price of Bitcoin in the candle closes and higher lows currently forming in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI. But at least for now, this is not yet confirmed because we need to actually confirm the higher low in place in the RSI by seeing a bounce in the RSI. And in order to confirm that, we need to see at least a couple of green candle closes confirming here in the price to cement the higher low in place in the RSI. And so that will be something else to pay attention to moving forward, maybe over the next 1 day or so. That could potentially confirm, but right now it's just something to pay attention to and not yet confirmed. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a free 500 USDT position airdrop just by making your Bybit account using that link, making a deposit, and basically claiming the airdrop on this page right here. Once again, first link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video. And if you use that link to make your Bitfinex account, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use that link down below this video, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that's only if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there other than Bybit, once again, there's Bitfinex, links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and over the last 1 day, we have now wiped out those long positions because, as I explained over the last couple of days here on the channel, we had a significant area of liquidity at around 59.6k to 59.8k approximately. And once again, over the last 1 day, we've now taken out that liquidity to wipe out a bunch of long positions. And so this was also a potential factor that caused this latest dump just here in the short term, because when long positions get squeezed out of the market, when long positions get liquidated, that also adds a bit more sell pressure to the market, further dumping the price. But the good news is we've now already seen that liquidation, which means we don't really have a lot of liquidity left immediately to the downside. We do have a small area in between around 58,000 to 59,000, give or take. But with that being said, we don't have a lot of liquidity, no significant level of liquidity just immediately to the downside. And as for upside liquidity, we have a small amount at around 63,000 and a decent amount still in between around 64,500 to 65,000. But obviously, as of right now, that is sitting above key resistance. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now, as I've been saying for months now on the channel, we're still very much bearish in terms of the long-term trend, but we're still holding above this massive area of support in between around 2150 to 2.2k. And as for resistance, we still have a lot of resistance at around 2,500 and 2.8k acting as significant resistance. And if we're zooming into the 12-hour time frame, we've pretty much completed the formation phase for this bearish head and shoulders pattern on the 12-hour Ethereum chart. But with that being said, we have not yet confirmed the breakdown, basically breaking below the neckline to confirm the bearish price target and to confirm the pattern. Because in order to do that, in order to see that confirmation signal, we need to see at least a solid candle close below this neckline. So a candle close below around 2360. And ideally, to be more confident that we're really heading down towards this bearish price target, we ideally need to break below this area of support. So basically these lows right here. And that's mainly sitting at around 2280 to 2320 based on this support. And so once again, because we have not seen a confirmed break with candle closes below these levels on the price chart, we've not yet confirmed the head and shoulders pattern and this bearish price target. But it is completely formed. We're just waiting for that confirmation signal. So it's not confirmed, but it's pretty much ready to confirm at any point now. We're just waiting for the confirmation signal. And if it confirms, that sets up this bearish price target at around 2050, so just above $2,000, which from the point of the breakdown from the neckline to that price target, that would be around a 13% move to the downside, or from this area of support. Basically, if you wait for a break below this area of support, so from around 2280 to that bearish price target, that's still around a 10% move to the downside, which with a 10x leverage shorts position, a 10% move is a 100% profit, basically doubling your money even during a dump. So in case you're new to all of this, yes, that is right. You can actually make a lot of money even while the price is dumping using things like shorts positions, for example. But once again, I want to make it clear that we've not yet confirmed that bearish price target because we're still waiting for a confirmed break below the neckline and ideally below this support. And if we're zooming into the 8-hour time frame, as I explained in my last couple of videos here on the channel, we still have more room to the downside here in the RSI, which means we have more room to the downside in the price because we already reset back to the upside over the last 1 week or so here in the RSI, giving us more room to the downside later on to potentially continue this bearish trend here in the short term, kind of like what we saw just here, for example. And if we're taking a look at Solana on the daily time frame, right now the price of Solana is still running into this area of support in between around 137 to 142 approximately, and we're getting very close to potentially breaking below that area. But once again, we'd still need to see a daily candle close below around 137 in order to actually confirm a break below this support. And in that case, if we confirm a break to the downside with at least a candle close and ideally confirm that is new resistance with a successful retest and a rejection from that area, then in that scenario, we'll likely see a move back down towards this massive area of support in between 120 to 128. And that should be significant support based on previous price action. And now, even if Solana holds above this area of support and we don't see a break to the downside here, in that case, we still have a lot of resistance at around 152 to 154 and a significant area of resistance in between 159 to 163. And as I explained in my last 1 to 2 videos, at best, we're looking neutral. And if we break below this support, then we're clearly looking more bearish in the short term. And so at least as of right now, I'm not exactly expecting any significant bullish momentum, if that's what you're wondering. And if we're zooming into this 6-hour time frame, we still technically have some more room to the downside in the 6-hour Solana RSI. But with that being said, it is getting closer towards oversold territories. So it's not there just yet, but it's getting closer. So like I said, for Bitcoin, we could potentially see a little bit more bearish price action here in the short term, but very soon, at some point in the next 1 to 2 days or so, we're likely going to see some sort of bounce, basically form some sort of local low and see a slight little relief from all of this bearish price action at some point in the next 1 or 2 days as a likely scenario. But once again, an oversold signal does not necessarily mean the end of a bearish trend. It just means we're due to see a bit of a reset back to the upside in the RSI, which plays out usually in the form of either choppy sideways price action or a slight bullish relief. And once again, that can sometimes occur during a bearish trend. And so that is the situation right now for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Those are the trends, the support, resistance, and signals to watch out for moving forward. Everything that could cause the price to move here in the short term. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to get those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.